On the day she was kidnapped, the woman begged her husband for help, but he coldly told the kidnappers to kill her so he could get his hands on her $5 billion fortune. As she sank to the bottom of the pool, feeling hopeless, she swore she would get her revenge. Then she opened her eyes and realized she had traveled back in time 6 months. It turns out, today was her engagement party. She overheard her fiancé and her best friend plotting to drug her and set up a scandal to ruin her reputation. To fight off the strong drug in her system and escape their trap, she stumbled into the hallway and grabbed the first man she saw. He just so happened to be her fiancé's powerful younger brother, the one who had been kicked out of the family. She pulled him into her room and spent the night with him. She basically used him as an antidote, not knowing that their lives were now tangled together. The next morning, her arrogant fiancé brought a bunch of reporters to her door. He was ready to catch her in bed with a stranger and completely destroy her reputation. He kicked the door open with a smug look on his face, shouting about how she betrayed him. But he was shocked to find the bed empty and the room quiet. Just as everyone started whispering, the woman stepped out of the elevator behind them, looking perfectly dressed and totally innocent. She calmly asked why he brought so many cameras to her room. She instantly turned the tables on him, making him look like a paranoid weirdo in front of the media. While the fiancé was stuttering, totally confused, the younger brother watched from the shadows with a smirk. He realized this woman had just played them all perfectly. The scumbag fiancé brought a bunch of reporters to the hotel room, ready to catch his fiancée in bed with a stranger and ruin her reputation for good. He had plotted with her best friend to drug her, making sure she'd be found in a bad spot on their engagement night. But when they burst through the door, the room was empty. Then, out of nowhere, the woman walked out of the elevator behind them wearing a totally different dress and looking innocent. She calmly explained that a waiter spilled wine on her, so she had to change. This instantly made the fiancé and her best friend look like a couple of paranoid weirdos. Not wanting to give up, the best friend insisted that a man was hiding inside. Just then, the bathroom door swung open, and the fiancé's younger brother, the one who was kicked out of the family, walked out wearing nothing but a bathrobe. The fiancé was terrified. This was the dangerous brother who had been kicked out of the family years ago for stabbing him. Instead of panicking, the woman played along, hinting that she had a thing with the brother just to piss off her fiancé. She leaned in and whispered that she was only with him for his money. Then, in front of everyone, she demanded that he buy her late mother's special necklace at the next day's auction. She knew he had already promised it to his mistress. That night, the younger brother cornered her by the river. He was amused by how ruthless she was. He offered to be her weapon for revenge. When she agreed to the dangerous team-up, he pulled her close and sealed the deal with a passionate kiss. To mess with her fiancé and make him go broke, the woman secretly teamed up with his younger brother who'd been kicked out of the family. She told her fiancé that she'd only forgive him for cheating if he bought her late mother's priceless necklace at an auction. She knew he was already short on cash from trying to lock down his spot as the family heir. At the auction, she pretended to be the loving fiancé, praising how generous he was in front of everyone to drive up the price. When the bidding started, the younger brother, pretending to be another buyer, aggressively jacked the price up to a crazy $600 million. The fiancé, desperate to save face and get the woman's trust and her money, fell for the trap and won the bid. He ended up spending all of his available cash. As he handed the necklace to the woman, thinking he had won, the auctioneer walked up to the younger brother with the check. That's when everyone found out that the younger brother was the one selling the necklace all along. The fiancé realized too late that he had just paid $600 million right into his enemy's pocket. He basically paid for his own downfall, while the woman and his brother shared a look of victory. The wealthy heiress ruthlessly poured red wine all over her best friend's face in front of everyone. It turns out this shameless girl was sleeping with her fiancé and tried to play the victim to mess up her reputation. The scumbag fiancé immediately defended his mistress and told off the heiress, but she just ignored him and left with a handsome billionaire. A few moments later, the two of them stood outside a hotel room, listening to the fiancé admit that he was only marrying her to steal her $50 billion fortune. While the cheaters were getting busy inside, the billionaire pinned the heiress against the wall, teasing her with a plan to get revenge right away. The heiress decided to hit back with everything she had. She counted down and threw the door open, exposing the couple's disgusting affair to a crowd of waiting reporters. She destroyed the scumbag's life in an instant. The woman kicked the hotel door open and let in a bunch of reporters to catch her fiancé in bed with her adopted sister. While the scumbag desperately tried to cover up his mistress and screamed about his privacy, the woman slapped him hard, exposing their 5-year affair to the world. Just as she was about to destroy their reputation, the fiancé's powerful father rushed in and slapped his son, but then he immediately threatened the media and told them to delete the footage. The shameless old man insisted. The cheaters were just like brother and sister. He warned the woman that calling off the wedding would cost her the $50 billion inheritance. Disgusted by how greedy they were, she cut off all contact with her family and went to a club to blow off some steam. There, she accepted a dare to kiss a stranger just to get back at her rivals. She walked right up to the most dangerous-looking man in the room and kissed him passionately, leaving everyone in shock. When she tried to get away, the billionaire followed her into the bathroom and pinned her against the sink. He refused to let her just use him like a toy. He kissed her again, super possessively, but just as things were heating up, her best friend walked in. Her friend realized the woman had already replaced her cheating ex with a much more powerful lover. He pointed to the hickey on her neck from the night before and smirked. He declared that he was willing to let her use him to destroy his own family. The next day, the fiancé's shameless father tried to buy her silence with 5% of the company's stock, insisting that the mistress was just a close friend. The woman pretended to be convinced and demanded the stock be transferred right away as a sign of good faith. The greedy family agreed, thinking they had locked down her inheritance. But the moment the contract was signed, she laughed in their faces and refused to set a wedding date until the mistress was gone. She walked away with their money and her freedom. The first thing the man did when he got back to his country was burn his family's luxury mansion to the ground. He sat calmly under an umbrella watching the flames, but his father and brother rushed over and angrily ordered him to leave. It turns out that years ago, these so-called family members had broken his arms and legs and left him to die on the streets of America, hoping to steal his inheritance. What they didn't know was that he had not only survived, but had come back as the head of the powerful Mu consortium. When the father tried to call security to kick him out, the man just snapped his fingers, and the entire security team bowed to him instead. He ruthlessly ordered his guards to throw his father and brother off the property, finally taking back what was his. After getting his revenge, he immediately went to find the girl who had saved his life when they were kids. The girl's grandfather recognized him right away and tried to set them up, reminding them of a childhood promise to get married. But the girl pretended she didn't know him, because she was scared of his new identity. The man wasn't discouraged because he remembered clearly how she had protected him from bullies and promised to be his wife. The grandfather then revealed a secret. Even though the girl was engaged to another man, he hated the fiancé and wanted this man to steal her back. Hearing this, the man smirked and immediately followed the girl upstairs, pretending he was going to fix her water heater, determined to make her keep her childhood promise. The man pushed his brother's fiancée against the bathroom mirror and forced a kiss on her, demanding that she call off her engagement right away. It turns out that he was the true heir of the family who had come back for revenge. The woman was his childhood sweetheart, who was now engaged to his evil stepbrother. Even though she tried to deny her feelings, the man saw right through her and cornered her, asking if she really loved that scumbag. Just as things got really tense, the stepbrother suddenly showed up downstairs, holding flowers to surprise her. The man wasn't scared at all, and instead deliberately knocked over a flower pot to hit his brother on the head. He then pulled the woman into a deep kiss on the balcony, while her fiancé was screaming and banging on the front door. The woman was terrified and quickly pushed him away to get the door. The furious fiancé barged in, accusing her of hiding the man. But when he saw the room was empty, he instantly changed his tone and apologized. To make her happy, he took out a jade bracelet, which was the family heirloom that symbolized the status of the woman of the house. The woman laughed to herself because she had been reborn and remembered that in her past life, her fiancé's mistress wore this bracelet to humiliate her. This time, she decided to use his own trick against him. She deliberately had him record a video of him putting the bracelet on her. She forced him to declare that she was the only official wife in the family. She then sent the video right to the mistress to start a fight between the cheaters. The man hiding in the dark watched all of this, and his eyes burned with jealousy. Later, at a family dinner, the CEO sat across from them as a guest. But under the table, he boldly took off his shoe and started playing with the woman's leg. The fiancé sensed something was up and bent down to check, but he was immediately hit with a hard blow that smashed his face against the table. With blood pouring from his nose, he screamed that the CEO was a pervert, but the grandfather only saw a crazy person yelling at an important guest. The CEO calmly denied everything, making his brother think he was crazy while secretly enjoying the thrill of stealing his fiancé right from under his nose. The rich heir arrogantly told his brother that he would soon inherit the entire family fortune, while the brother couldn't even get in the front gate. He laughed and made fun of the man for being an abandoned outcast. But the man just smiled and made a phone call, promising to take back everything that belonged to him. On the night of the big party, the heir stopped the man at the red carpet and ruthlessly demanded that he kneel down and lick his shoes to get inside. The family elders stood by and insulted him, calling him a disgrace who was polluting their air. The man stayed calm and suddenly pulled out a special red invitation. The elders were instantly shocked because this invitation was only for the highest-ranking elders. The heir panicked and accused the man of faking the invitation, and immediately ordered the guards to break his legs and throw him out. Just as the weapons were about to hit the man, his secret bodyguard jumped out and knocked all the attackers to the ground in seconds. The humiliated head of the family screamed for everyone to attack at once, but at that critical moment, a loud voice boomed from the darkness, demanding to know who dared to touch him. The rich heir arrogantly ordered his outcast brother to kneel and lick his shoes in front of the whole family. He was convinced that tonight he would become the one and only heir to the empire. He made fun of the man for being an abandoned stray dog who didn't even deserve to breathe the same air. The arrogant heir was forced to kneel and apologize, but he was secretly plotting one last deadly attack. He planted 50 pounds of explosives on the man's way home, determined to kill him once and for all. Meanwhile, the man's fiancé sensed something was wrong and frantically tried to call him, but he didn't answer.